today I want to talk about mindset and mental health. And wanted to share this saying that I came to believe in. You can only run so far until the weight of what you're carrying catches up to you. And for my whole life, mindset has got me through everything. But what I'm becoming to realize is that I need to take time to heal and process because that's how you truly move on. So, through my other episodes, I talked about some of the stuff that has been really hard in my life. Mindset has always got me through. I always am like, I'm not going to let this break me. I'm stronger than this. I'm going to keep going. But after the death of my mom, I realized that mindset wasn't enough. It was the grief that I needed to process. Trying to have kids, I didn't really process that grief. I'd give myself 24 hours to be sad and then move on. But with everything piling on top of each other, I just couldn't keep going without pausing and taking the time to heal. And that's what I'm doing now still. My healing process has been a journey, like I've stated before, but I think it's been such a journey because I'm healing from so much right now. Like my whole life has been push it down, keep moving forward. This isn't going to break me. I'm stronger than this. And while mindset can get you pretty far in life, it can't sustain you. There's another saying people say it's mindset's the car, but your mental health is the engine. And the car can only take you so far till the engine blows up. And my life blew up after it slowed down a little bit. Once my mom died, it was a long fight with cancer. And like I said, my mom has the same mindset. Nothing's going to destroy her. She's stronger than that. She can get through anything. But through all that, her body broke down and gave up on her and she couldn't go. And to watch one of the strongest people you know get destroyed by cancer, it's devastating. And I didn't process it like I should have. I was opening our flagship store for Medcare, and I just threw myself into that. I didn't let myself process the grief like I should have. And once my mom died, COVID hit. We were a cannabis store, so we were one of the only stores still open. So I still got to throw myself into work. Didn't really have to think about it yet. It wasn't until my husband at the time's grandmother passed away where his grief was more of anger. And I was still processing the grief of my mom. I've never had a death that close to me that like shook my world. She was like my biggest cheerleader. And without her there, it was just a hole, like a void of safety and belonging that I didn't feel anymore with her not here. So that was one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with in my life was trying to get through my mom's death. Once COVID, we were busy. Our store was doing amazing. People were getting extra money. Our store was one of the only ones open. So we did great in that downtime for everybody else. But then my husband's grandmother passed away and I didn't know how to help him. I couldn't even help myself. So I kind of didn't want to push myself on him during his grieving process because I was still trying to figure out how to grieve. But his grief turned into anger, and I was the one at the other end of the anger. He felt resentment towards me because he still hadn't had a biological child of his own, and he was upset that he didn't have a child before his grandma passed. So on top of my grief with my mom, now my husband was grieving his grandma who raised him, and he was taking that grief out on me through anger. So that was on top of everything else was very hard to deal with. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept trying to push forward, but his anger became hate and trying to exclude me from things. Me and him were best friends before we ever dated, before anything romantic ever happened. So through all of this, I felt like our foundation was mainly friendship, and then we got together. So when all this was going on, I just wanted to more be there for him as a friend, if that's what he needed. And I understood that his anger towards me was just a part of him grieving. And I wasn't taking it personally. I was still trying to be there for him, even with all the hate he was spewing my way. He would tell me I'm the worst partner in the world in both business and personal, and I need to get out of his life. He would start fights with me so he can go get a hotel room and stay away for a couple days. Then he'd come back home. It was just so hot and cold and up and down. And my mental health was just deteriorating. Like, I didn't have my best friend there anymore. I didn't have my mom. The man that I thought I was going to be with forever was telling me I was the worst partner in the world, even though we had a very successful business we built together. And this wasn't even the first business we built together. We built Dynamic Duo and Associates. It was a real estate company in Washington State, and we were very successful at that also. But he was in a huge motorcycle accident, which changed our lives forever. And that was another thing. That accident for him was traumatic. And that's what kind of started Medcare and everything. But for me, I was actually driving on my way home. I was probably a mile from home and traffic was backed up. I saw ambulance and I just had this worst, like this feeling just overcame me. And I parked my car in the middle of the road, got out and started running. And when I got up there, I saw his motorcycle, his helmet, and then a whole bunch of people around him with his feet out. And I ran up. I just wanted to see his eyes because not too long before that, my cousin's husband had fell off a motorbike going 1 mile an hour and hit his head wrong and died. So that was just in my mind. So I was like, I just need to see his eyes. I just need to see his eyes. I almost got arrested because I guess I almost punched a cop. It was just very traumatic for me. And even though like he's the one who went through that accident, the experience I had coming up to it and seeing him thinking he was dead was something I feel like I still have PTSD from. And I was able to keep going from that. We lost our business. We kept going. We moved to California. We started Medcare. And that's what we threw ourselves into. So I'm watching my pattern of life and I'm looking back and I'm thinking, damn, every traumatic event that happened in my life, I just used my mindset to push through. But I never sat here and processed and healed from those traumas. And that's why I feel like now it's taking me so long to heal because I'm healing from everything that I've pushed down my whole life. So even though mindset is important, and I feel like my mindset is strong as it could be, once my mental health started to deteriorate, my mindset just wasn't enough anymore. So I wish I would have balanced more. Like they say, if you want to be successful, there's not balance. And I get that. And I worked a lot and I understood if you wanted to be successful, you need to really focus and not have complete balance. But there's a difference in life balance and mental health and mindset balance. And that's what I'm learning now. That doesn't matter how strong your mindset is, you have to take care of your feelings, your emotions, and you have to learn how to process those so they don't affect everything in your life. And so when something happens, you're strong enough to handle it because everything was falling apart in my life. And I had my spouse or my best friend that normally would help me, but they weren't there either. And it was dependent on me to take care of myself and to support myself and to heal myself. And that was something I've never done before. So that's why this has been such a hard journey because I'm trying to understand my feelings. I'm trying to process my grief from not being able to have my family. I'm trying to process the grief from not having my mom here anymore. I'm trying to process the grief from losing my business. There's just all this grief that I never processed. I just pushed down and moved on. And like I said before, I thought I was strong, but I wasn't strong. I was just pushing it all down and moving forward with a strong mindset. So I want people to understand that it's great to be strong and it's great to be able to power through things and keep moving forward. But you need to take accountability and inventory of your life and understand that some things are worth pausing for. Some things are worth taking the time to understand. And it doesn't matter how much time you feel like you need to take, you take it for yourself. And this is why I started working out, eating right, and doing all those things because I didn't have any of those outlets before to help with my mental health. So my life is very well balanced with self care, hobbies that help my mental health, and not processing all the negativity that other people put on you. If I took everything personal from people, like I don't think I would still be here. Like I said before, it's hard to process negative thoughts about yourself, but it's really hard to process negative thoughts that people share with you that you respect and trust. And when they're sharing those thoughts with you to hurt you, not out of love, not necessary. So if you don't have anything productive or nice to say to someone and you're not doing it out of a place of kindness or to help them grow, then just keep your opinion to yourself because mental health is hard and it's not something you should take lightly. And it's not something you should take pleasure in hurting other people and hurting their mental health. So I just want to people to understand that mindset and mental health are from the same coin, but from opposite sides. They go together. And I never really worked on them both together. It was always just mindset and keep going. And now I feel like I'm becoming a lot more emotionally intelligent. I understand not everything deserves a reaction. And I process things before I react. There's that moment in between when someone says something and you have the opportunity to respond the way you should respond. Now I always take a second and I say, what would God do? And then that's what I do because I don't want to be like anyone else besides God. So mental health and mindset are equally important. So don't focus on one without the other.